Cambridgeshire Guided Busway. Its two sections totalling a distance of 16 miles makes it the longest of its kind in the world. And whilst it offers much needed public transport provision, it was a project plagued by controversy. The northern section sits on the route of the former Cambridge to St Ives branch line, which after closure to passengers in 1970, ultimately ceased operations in the early 1990s. And when so much of the railway infrastructure remained in place, the question was not unreasonably asked, why not just reinstate the railway? The railway between Cambridge and St Ives opened in the late 1840s, and much of its life was a quiet one, offering routes out of the university city to fenland towns and villages, and, further afield, the industrial towns of Northamptonshire. After departing Cambridge, trains called at Histon, Oakington, Longstanton, Swavesey and St Ives, the last of which acted as a junction for the aforementioned journeys. Citing heavy financial losses, passenger services on the line were withdrawn in October 1970, with diminished goods traffic lingering on for just over 20 more years. Whilst many assets were stripped as time passed, large portions of the track, many of the railway's buildings and other features continued to stand fast while both weeds, dereliction and vandalism took hold. So what was to be done? In 1994, Cambridgeshire County Council officials projected it would cost £15 million to purchase the land and reopen it for trains, or else as a route for guided buses. A busway, where specially adapted buses run at greater than usual speed on a dedicated route, on a purpose-built track. They vary in design and can be found across the world. In 2002, a viability study endorsed the busway scheme and estimated a £73 million price tag, and by June 2006 the government announced that £92.5 million of public money would be made available for the project. Construction began in 2007, with BAM Nuttall manufacturing the concrete beams that comprise the busway, with an estimated completion date of February 2009. Over 2 years behind schedule, the busway opened in August 2011, and soon afterwards disputes broke out between the County Council and BAM Nuttall concerning the cost of construction. In 2017, Cambridgeshire County Council sued the guided busway contractor over £36.5 million worth of repairs. An effort undertaken again in 2020, which was finally settled in 2023, though the extent of the settlement remains unknown. But the cost has not only been financial. Several accidents have occurred on the busway, including derailments, crashes, and most serious of all, 3 fatalities, 2 occurring on the busway's southern route and 1 on the route to St Ives. For all 3, the council has faced criminal prosecution by the Health and Safety Executive. Estimates put the total cost of the busway between £152 and £200 million. So why did they not just reopen the railway? The busway solution was chosen because it was thought to be around a fifth of the cost of constructing a similar light or heavy rail project, and would also have a larger passenger capacity. But this claim was contested, and a campaign group, Cast Iron, who themselves presented a fully costed, independently scrutinised plan to reopen the railway, was formed. They noted that 2,700 objections to the busway sent to the Secretary of State for Transport, plus nearly 4,000 signatures on our petition in favour of the case, were, in effect, ignored. However, whilst pro-rail campaigners may be sure of their case, the unfortunate reality of rail construction costs can always be measured in the hundreds of millions as a minimum, and regrettably, recent high-profile examples have done little to redeem what is perceived as a wasteful reputation. It should come as no surprise that I am a railway enthusiast and prefer to travel by train when the situation arises. But I was pleasantly surprised by the busway. Travelling just after the morning rush hour one sunny day, I had the top deck to myself, some delightful views, and I was impressed by the speedy nature of the journey. It was also cheap, considerably cheaper than an equivalent journey by rail, and the park and ride facility at the end of the route is free, unlike so many station car parks. Indeed, I have cycled beside the busway on several occasions, and it really is a delightful, undemanding ride. Moreover, given the nature of my channel, I am pleased to report that most of the original stations on the route are still in place as either businesses or private residences. Alas, Swavesey was not quite as fortunate. Nor was St Ives. The busway has disadvantages, of course. Another noteworthy one is that buses are obliged to join congested roads to reach the city centre once they leave the busway. But at the same time, most of the public would be prepared to wait on a bus to get to the city centre rather than walk from the station. And I think this is worth considering. Whilst transport enthusiasts will undoubtedly do battle over the relative merits of busways and railways, the truth is that a great proportion of the public simply do not care. Whatever is cheaper, more reliable, more efficient, and, maybe if they are lucky, more comfortable. And the local council remains undeterred with plans for new busways, ensuring that the controversy surrounding them continues unabated. The Cambridgeshire Guided Busway has been a partial success. It has achieved significant ridership, even if that has generally been below projected daily passenger numbers. It has contributed to traffic reduction and supported economic growth along the route, such as the major development of Northstowe. However, the project's initial construction problems, high costs, and ongoing maintenance challenges have tempered its overall success. Had the railway remained in place or been resurrected, it may have achieved more by way of strengthening national rather than local connections, especially along the A14 corridor. In conclusion then, while the busway has met some of its transport and environmental objectives, the financial and operational difficulties highlight the complexities involved in such large-scale infrastructure projects. I hope you enjoyed this film. Please do like, share, comment, subscribe, and click your notification bell. If you feel you can support this channel further, do consider buying me a coffee. Details in the description below. And join me again so that we may continue rediscovering lost railways.